Hi, Ed here from Crystal Clear Aquatics, and I'm just here to revisit an installation of an Oase filtral that I installed a couple of weeks ago, just to see how the pond is getting on. There's been a vast improvement in water clarity, and it's now time for the filtral's first clean. So this is a great opportunity for me to strip it apart and show you exactly what's involved. So already there's been a marked improvement in water clarity. You can see the bottom of the pond. I don't know if you can see over the glare and the reflections here, but we can see the fish quite comfortably. I'll do some underwater shots as well so you can really compare the clarity from how it was originally. But there's still a fair amount of suspended particles here in the water, and I'm sure that with a clean on the filtral we'll be able to get this water polished and improve that clarity even further. This is usually a pretty mucky job, so I've got my PPE. Always worth having a pair of these long gauntlets as well. And I'm expecting this to be pretty mucky. Let's have a look. So as I said on the previous video, one great feature of this new filtral compared to the old one is the ability to remove the cage here without having to unscrew and play around with the fountain riser pipe and plumbing and bits and pieces. So you can just unclip the sides here and remove this, and yes, sure enough, this is absolutely caked in muck. So this is certainly deserved of a good clean, and there'll definitely be a vast improvement in this clarity once this has been done. Right, so we're going to try and attempt this with a head cam, so I get full use of both hands. So having taken off the lid, you can see here that the filter itself is caked in muck. This is the coarse open-celled filter foam, the first stage of filtration, and there's nothing else that could be taken out. This is, you know, full to saturation. So we've got a layer of foam that's coming out. Then we've got the fine open-cell filter foam, which will trap some of the finer particles. Again, that's really clogged. That comes out. We've got a bag of ceramic media. That comes out. We've got 4 of these plastic baffles, and these will come out. And then the whole pump and UV ballast just lifts out. Now you'll notice that here there's a little rubber grommet that holds the cable nice and securely into the housing of the filter. When you lift this up to remove it, be careful that doesn't slide off and disappear down into the pond. Be aware that it's there, because you want to be able to put that back in like that to make sure that that's held nice and secure and that it's not losing potential flow, drawing water in from somewhere it shouldn't be. So we'll put that off to one side. Now there's no tools required in cleaning this system other than a pair of gloves and a bucket. If you were replacing the UV tube, you would need to remove the casing, and then inside you've got one Phillips screw to access the UV tube inside the quartz sleeve. But for this, there's no tools required. The remainder of this can just be tipped away discreetly somewhere on a border, but this is a fantastic natural organic fertiliser. All of the muck that you get out of a filtration system is really, really good stuff to put on the plant, so don't be shy. Might not look very nice, reminiscent of sort of dry cowpats once it's dried on the borders, but really, really good stuff. Now I'm cleaning out all of this filter media simply in buckets of pond water, for 2 reasons. One reason is that the filtration system is biologically active. There are millions and millions of beneficial microbes and nitrifying bacteria living amongst the surface area of all this media. We want to retain that. By washing it in tap water, blasting it off and using chemical chlorinated water, you're going to end up destroying and getting rid of a lot of that beneficial bacteria, which we don't want to do. Another important thing to consider is that the filter itself works much better when it's partially clogged. The object of cleaning out these foams isn't to try and get them looking brand new, blasting them with a jet wash. It's just a few squeezes just to release and remove the majority of the sediment. But we still want them to be partially clogged, because it's then that they're going to trap the really fine particles and help to polish the water. So I'm just simply dunking these in that bucket of pond water. You can see now why I've got the gloves. Giving it a good squeeze. Now I tend to do this 2 or 3 times. That's the sort of preliminary clean, just to get rid of the bulk of the muck. And then in the same water I'll also squeeze out the fine foam. So another bucket of clean pond water, and we'll do a second clean. And that's it. That's clean enough, and we've preserved as much of that goodness in there as possible. Now the last of the media, the ceramic media, this is a biological filter media with an incredibly high surface area. The ceramic material it's made of is covered in little micropores, a huge breeding ground for that nitrifying bacteria. And all we do with that is just give it a couple of dunks. Like so. These little plastic baffles, a couple of dunks. Now the case, if you wanted to, you could get that under the hose and just give that a bit of a blast to get rid of the bulk of the muck in there. I'll just give it a swoosh around in the bucket as well. And again, the pump, the ballast, this could probably do with a bit of a spray with a hose just to get rid of any of the sediment from there. And it's important that you try and keep this little window here. This is a window down to the UV, and this will glow up to show you that the tube is working. That can easily get covered in algae and debris, so make sure that's kept clean. Right, having cleaned everything, to reassemble it, I would first of all put the pump and the UV back into position, remembering not to lose that rubber grommet that just about slid into the pond there. And that's a good reference point. The cable exit here, the fountain riser assembly and the ballast sits opposite that, like so. And now you can put all the filter media around the unit. Plastic baffles on the upright, 2 on each. A bag of ceramic media sits down there in that little cavity. The fine filter foam sits there, and the coarse filter foam, very obviously with the cutaways, sits on top. And that's it, that's a clean. If there's a lot of blanket weed or leaves and other detritus that have accumulated and stuck to the case, this could do with a brush down or a hose, but as it is now, that's absolutely fine. And that's it. So that's it. Hope you found that useful. As you can see, it's incredibly simple to clean these. Frequency depends how dirty the pond is, how many fish you've got in the pond, how often you're feeding, etc. But as a general rule, I'd say at least once a month it would be worth taking the foams apart and having a look inside and giving them a squeeze if they need it. The pond will guide you. If it's nice and clear and you don't notice a difference in the flow rates on the outlet here, then probably it's not clogged and it won't need any attention. But if you notice that this is slowing down, that probably means the unit's clogged. Or if you notice that the pond itself is starting to cloud up again, it probably means it's time for a clean. I hope you found that useful. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Ed from Crystal Clear Aquatics.